Hello, I'm Ollie and this is Criminolly, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today, horror in the Arctic and sex in Texas. It's my weekly wrap-up. It's just after 9 o'clock on Saturday morning when I'm filming this, and it's already really warm here. So we are due to have a heat wave in the UK this weekend, which means the temperature I think is set to go. They're saying it will go over 30 degrees centigrade, which may not be hot where you are in the world, but where I am, that's definitely hot. So yes, I shall be having a fairly relaxed weekend. I do have a few chores to do, but I'm going to try and have a fairly relaxed weekend and stay either in the shade or indoors, to keep out of the heat and get some reading done. Of course, also a week of celebration in the UK as that mendacious buffoon Boris Johnson has finally resigned. And although, well, he's resigned from being leader of the Conservative Party, but not from being Prime Minister, which in theory he should have done as well. There's all sorts of rumours as to why he is trying to cling on in number 10, including one about him trying to hold his wedding reception at Chequers, which is the Prime Minister's country retreat. So apparently him and Carrie, his wife, are planning to hold their belated wedding reception there. And so he can't stop being Prime Minister, because that would mean they wouldn't have a venue for it. I kind of hope that is true. It certainly feels in character for him. Anyway, enough politics. Let's talk booktube stuff. So before I get into my weekly wrap up, we have had a special addition to the Garb August Dirty Dozen, so we're now officially a Dirty Baker's Dozen, and it came from the page has joined us. So I reached out to him during the week, or a couple of weeks ago actually, because his channel has really come to my attention since we started doing Garb August, and it's fantastic, and he really gets and loves trashy literature, especially novelisations. Novelisations are like his specialist subject, so it didn't feel right to go ahead with Garb August without inviting him to be part of it. So he has done his announcement video, and I'll put a link to that in the description for this video. He did not, in his announcement video, say what his special Garb August name is, so you'll remember that all of the channels that are hosts for Garb August have got special Garb August names. So I am Screaming Creaming Ollie. Andrew's channel, which is normally it came from the page for, you can probably guess where this is going to go, for Garb August will be it came all over the page, but yeah, he did forget to say that in his video, or maybe he deliberately left it out. That's also entirely possible. Anyway, so that's a bit of a ramble to start the video. Let's talk about what I've been reading. So I've only read 3 books this week, which isn't that much for me, but one of them was The Terror by Dan Simmons, which is over 900 pages, so I think I deserve to be let off. So yeah, so that was the first book that I read. So that was a buddy read that I did with Brad Proctor, and another excellent YouTuber whose channel you should check out if you haven't already. I'll put a link to his channel in the description as well. So yeah, we discussed this a couple of months ago and booked this in for July. And yeah, it's really good. So I will do a full review of it, but it didn't feel like a 900-page book at all. And it's not even that it moves at a particularly fast pace, because it doesn't. It's just incredibly engrossing. I thought it was a really excellent book, and it made me keen to read more Dan Simmons. So I've read a bunch of Dan Simmons when I was a lot younger, but I haven't read anything since then until The Terror. So yeah, you probably know the story, but it's about a doomed expedition to the Arctic based on a true expedition, but with a kind of bit of a supernatural twist going on. It was really, really good. There were a couple of things that I didn't like about it, and I'll talk about those in my review. But on the whole, I thought it was really excellent. So yeah, thank you again, Fred, for doing that buddy read for me. I enjoyed it very much. After that, I read The Last Picture Show by Larry McMurtry, which was this month's choice for the Birth Year Book Club, where we are reading books that were chosen by booktubers when they did the Birth Year Book Tag. So this was the choice of an enthusiastic reader, and it was originally published in 66, I think. Yes, 1966. So this was excellent, completely different from The Terror, very, very good. So a novel about a small town in Texas and the inhabitants of that small town, particularly a group of teenagers, and in particular two male friends who are graduating high school. And it's just about their kind of last summer, basically. It's got loads of sex in it, but not in a kind of prurient or exploitative way. The whole book just felt very natural. It's got a very gentle pace to it. It's very, very episodic. It's just things happening to these people, and there is a bit of a plot running through it that's about the relationship between the two main characters and the relationships they have with various female characters and the impact that has on their friendship. It was just a really lovely book. I can't quite decide how to explain why I liked it so much, but I think it was really just that it felt incredibly real, incredibly natural. The characters are all fantastic, all flawed in different ways, but credibly flawed. And by the end of it, you feel like they are real people that you've spent a bit of time with. It's just a fantastic book. So very, very glad to have read that. Various people are doing the read along as well. And there's been a good discussion of the book on my Discord. So if you fancy reading it, or you're reading it already and want to join in that discussion, as always, there's a link to my Discord in the description for the video. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. Completely different. So in my kind of run up to Garb August, reading various trashy books. So I read The Deadly Reunion by Mike McCray, which is a house name. I can't remember who actually wrote this one. So this is the first of the Black Berets books, which was like a men's adventure series from the 80s. So this was fun. It wasn't brilliant, but it was fun. So basically, it's a team of 5 guys who fought together in Vietnam, who get recruited to go back to Southeast Asia and rescue some prisoners of war. So it's that real kind of cliched thing, but it does some quite interesting things with it. So some good twists along the way. It wasn't quite as action-packed as I'd expected. There's a fantastic scene at the beginning where the leader of the Black Berets, who's a Native American guy, comes across some kind of rednecks basically who are torturing a teenager. So that whole sequence was fantastic and really gripping. But after that, it wasn't quite as gripping as action-packed as I expected. But it was a lot of fun. And as I say, it's got a good twist. It's got a reasonable amount of violence, and it does set up the series really well. So I would be interested in reading other books in the series if I can find them cheaply enough, because they do tend to be quite pricey now. But yeah, it was a fun read. And then I am currently also reading a book called The Quiet at the End of the World by Lauren James, which is a kind of YA post-apocalyptic kind of book, which I'm reading for my kind of work book club, where we read a book a month. Although there's a few months recently that we skipped because people hadn't had capacity and things like that. So I've started that, and I'm kind of reading it in between other things. It's okay. It does feel quite YA so far, so I'm not loving it, but it's all right. And then in terms of kind of reading plans for this weekend and into the week ahead, so I'm going to read another men's adventure book, so Zcom Swastika by Carl Manning, which and then I will do for Countdown to Garb August this Thursday, I'll do kind of a double header review of these two. So I'm expecting this to be a lot more crazy and action packed than the Black Berets book. The Zcom books have a reputation for just being absolutely bonkers. So yeah, looking forward to that. I've also need to read this, so Blackburn by Bradley Denton, which is a book I was aware of as a teenager but never got around to reading. So for a website called Leviathan Libraries, I'm involved in doing a series of reviews of books that were nominated for the Stoker Awards. And this was nominated in the year it came out. I can't remember when that was, 1993. And it's a book about a a sympathetic serial killer, is my understanding. So kind of in the Dexter mold, but I think it came out before the first Dexter book. So yeah, a serial killer who you end up wanting to root for as the reader. So yeah, we'll see if that's true or not, or if it's just incredibly distasteful, as that concept might suggest it could be. So yeah, quite looking forward to that. It's not too long. It's just under 300 pages. So I think I'm going to read the ZCon book next, and then this. So I'll probably get to this at some point this weekend. And then also for the VC Andrews reading group that's run by Kelly Hooked-on Books. Heaven, the first in the Castile saga. So I am very much looking forward to reading this. I was planning to read it after the Larry McMurtry book, but then I realised I needed to read some stuff for Countdown to Garb August, so I picked up that Black Barrows book instead. So, and then found out I needed to read this because I've got a review due on Friday for it. And yeah, I haven't read it yet. So, but yeah, VC Andrews will be next up after those. And then after that, I don't know. I will pluck something from my TBR box or from the shelves. So yeah, that's what I have read and what I'm planning on reading. In terms of channel stuff, so in the week that has just gone, so we had a Small Press Friday where I did a review of a couple of horror books. I did a review on Thursday of Woman Eating, which is kind of a literary vampire novel by a new author called Claire Kodak, which is really good. I like that a lot. And also for Countdown to Garb August, did a review of The Happy Hooker by Xavier Hollander, which was quite an experience. So yeah, watch that review if you want to hear more about that. My library tour on Wednesday was of books by Ian Banks. I did a book haul video on Monday, where I talked about some kind of trashy and other books that have come in. On Tuesday, I did the Get to Know Me tag, so 25 questions about me. And then my Sunday Bollocks video last week was about disposable books. So that's kind of what's been on the channel in the last week or so that you may have missed in the week ahead. So tomorrow, my Sunday Bollocks video is going to be about 10 things Stephen King taught me. So I've only got 9 of them so far, so I need to come up with another one. At some point during the week, I might do a Garb August giveaway video. So I've got a few ideas for what I want to do for that. I just haven't quite figured out when I'm going to be able to get everything organised to film it. My tag video this week will be the Why Haven't I Read This tag. And again, I need to do a bit of preparation for that because I haven't got a clue what my answers are going to be. My library tour on Wednesday will be, it will be my final library tour video. So that will be completing my library tour, and it will be books by J.K. Rowling. So people may or may not want to watch that depending on their opinion of J.K. Rowling, and totally get that. And then on Thursday, we'll have reviews of those 2 men's adventure books for Countdown to Garb August, and also The Terror by Dan Simmons. And then I'm expecting my Abominable Book Club subscription box to land in the next few days as well. So assuming it does and I have time to film, I will get an unboxing video for that put up as well. So yeah, that's the week ahead on Criminally. So look out for any of those videos if they sound appealing. Right, so time to pluck a book from the shelves. Given how glorious and sunny it is today, I've gone for this one, the Corfu Trilogy by Gerald Durrell. So I have not read this book. In fact, it's 3 books. It's an omnibus containing 3 books, as the Durbet trilogies would suggest. The first of which is My Family. So the books are My Family and Other Animals, Birds, Beasts and Relatives, and The Garden of the Gods. So if you don't know, Gerald Durrell is a famous naturalist. I nearly said naturist, which is something completely different. Famous naturalist in the UK who wrote this series of books about his childhood. So he grew up with lived for a long time with his mum and his siblings on the island of Corfu, the Greek island. So these books were famously filmed in, I think, the 70s. There was a BBC series called My Family and Other Animals, which I remember watching as a kid, and then more recently filmed as The Durrells, which has been a show in the last kind of 10 years or so. So completely uncriminal-y kind of stuff, but I really love The Durrells. It's really cosy kind of Sunday evening viewing with a bit of comedy, a bit of drama. Great acting, great performances. It's just very entertaining. So yeah, I've been meaning to read this for ages, and very much looking forward to it. Durrell's brother was Lawrence Durrell, who's a quite well-known, famous novelist from the 60s. So yeah, need to get to this at some point, but have not done so yet. But yeah, maybe it'll be a summer holiday read. I have got it on my Kindle as well, obviously, because why wouldn't I have? Okay, that's my weekly wrap up for the week. So yeah, let me know if you've read any of the books I talked about. As always, hope you're safe and well. If you are in the UK, make sure you slap on a bit of sunscreen this weekend if you're going out. It's very warm already, as I said, out there, and I think destined to get even hotter. So yeah, do take care. But yeah, hope you're safe and well. Hope you're really good stuff, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Cheerio. Hello, I'm Ollie, and this is Criminolly, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today, freezing cold, frightening stuff.